A revolutionary. Say whoa. Trap revolutionary. Got the wave is too scary. Doing this thing like Malcolm ain't by any means necessary. We ain't got it by no one seen hand. We got the master plan. Get the movement going on. Right here where we stand, man. We bucking and stumping, fist pumping. Even though they tried to set us up for failure and kill us, we keep on coming. That's why somebody gotta step up and say something about the bullshit. Because if not, the blind gon' keep leaving.
What's going on, y'all? I want to do this video. It's about, I don't know. I got this guy going around that he was going around. He got locked up. Chud The Builder. Going around, calling people, racial slurs and just trying to instigate, as they say, race baiting, or rage baiting. So he ends up getting locked up. If I'm not mistaken, he's in Tennessee. I think he was near. Let me check real quick. I think he was near a courthouse or somewhere, certainly in the vicinity. So anyway, now he's facing possible time in prison because of the incident. So, it's gonna end up, this man, he's gonna end up getting a $1.25 million bond. So it don't seem like he's going anywhere. If I'm not mistaken too, they did not, I believe he had an account where he was raising money. I believe he had like some type of fund account to where he was raising money for this particular, to try to make money or whatever. So, and what I'm understanding is that the prosecutor is, trying to make sure he cannot use the bond or the money he's raising to make bond. Said he's like facing up to 60 years in prison, following the shooting that happened outside of Montgomery County, Montgomery County Courthouse. So it's like this man, not only that though, what I'm saying? It speaks to a bigger issue. It's like, it's actually two-pronged. So he did that for his 15 minutes of fame. He's so, just so, I guess, enamored with fame or trying to be famous that he was willing to do whatever it took to get some type of fame. And matter of fact, from what it's understood, is that he was a fairy. He was literally like dressing in drag, or basically living like a liberal type, be who you want to be, lifestyle. I'm a what do you call, whatever type of lifestyle. I'm just like, might well say LGBTQ lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that didn't work, didn't bring him the fame he wanted. And so he just, I'm gonna just do not clickbait, but race baiting, rage baiting, and getting people to engage him from calling him nigger or chimp or whatever. So that's something has to be said, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, that part is what makes me want to, segue into this. Like, what makes you think you can just go around? I guess you feel like, hey, well, black people, I can pick on them. You know what I'm saying? And you can just go around and just, talk down on black people, and you can just say whatever you want to or act any way you want to towards black people. Like, we are the lesser, I guess, what you thought is that we were the lesser class of citizens, and then, we can, you can take advantage of that and just do what you want to. You know what I'm saying? Simply because we black, everybody, what you thinking, everybody's gonna agree with you. You're not gonna suffer the consequences of it. and nothing is going to be said because it's black people. But that's another thing. What I'm saying, that's why I said that has to be talked about, because you have some people out here thinking that they can just do anything or say anything to black people. Totally just say whatever at will, and we just accept it. Or if we don't accept it and something happens, then you're gonna get out of it because you basically did something to somebody black. We the lower class. That type of thinking, what I'm saying, is what I'm saying. It's a problem, And this is gonna be an example though. He's gonna be made example out of. What I'm saying? Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up getting time, going to prison, and then in prison, the booty bandit is gonna get it. See, that's what they don't tell you. Out here, you think it's sweet, but in there, it's a whole nother world. Where you're gonna end up running into some people that gonna end up making you their girlfriend. You didn't think the whole situation out. And the fact that it's known, like with people, and of course, in there, people know what's going on out here now. People got phones or they got access to the internet, so they know what's going on. So you put yourself in a bad situation because you didn't think about the consequences from A to Z. And that's even something. What I'm saying, and when you are doing something where it could be some consequences behind it, that's what you got to think. But him thinking, I guess he thought, he was doing something, and he was, doing his, I don't know, so-called patriotic duty to try to talk down and stomp down on black people. We end up backfiring. What I'm saying? Because like I said, you're gonna end up losing your freedom. You already was what it said that he didn't have no money in the first place. He already had the little fund account or whatever built up before this happened, because he had lost his job, and so he was asking people for money anyway. You know what I'm saying? So and that's the thing about it. It's like you didn't have any money in the first place. Now the whole thing is that you're gonna face a prison time. You're gonna lose your freedom. Paying for a lawyer, a court appointed lawyer, or however it may work out. You got to spend money for that. And you're trying to spend money to make bond, to make bail. Like, all of this simply because you were chasing 15 minutes of fame, clickbaiting or whatever, or just getting people to to watch your content, and that's problematic. You got people out here right now, man. You're people are really, going wild, going buck wild just to get 15 minutes of fame. So like, really, what is it worth? Is it worth your freedom? You have to think about it. Is it worth your freedom? Really worth your life? What I'm saying? Because truth be told, and Brother General said this too, man, in the day, and even in my days in the streets, man, you would have came through the hood with that. You would come through certain areas with that, man. You would lose your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, But I mean, you lost your freedom. You know what I'm saying? So now you finna go in there with some really stumped down, killers, drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Like gorillas, and you gonna fuck around. You gonna really find out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a game. So what you thought you was doing out here because you feel like, pay you were, and then that's that was said too. Like, you didn't go to the areas where it was really really dangerous. You stayed in the safe zone where people probably wasn't, trying to get at you like that. And then you would go, and make sure they knew you had a gun. But you weren't gonna go to the stump down there. You want to, like here in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna come to the real Dallas. You know what I'm saying? South Dallas. You know what I'm saying? That parts of West Dallas. East Dallas. You ain't gonna come, where it's really, really going on at. You know what I'm saying? So That's what like what was said. Like you go into areas, man, where you just kind of picking on people, where they kind of accept it, but you're not coming to the where areas where some real killers at. So that was said as well. But like I said, man, it's a tragedy that people like that will sit here and just to denigrate, and talk down to black people like that. You know what I'm saying? Simply for the fact that you feel like we are the lesser class. That's basically what it is, and that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? In America, you have people that feel like black people are the lesser class, and they can get away with doing something to us. You know what I'm saying? Spewing hatred towards us. You know what I'm saying? So that's a problem. And I wouldn't even go on to say like, yeah, he needs to be made example of, and to never happen again, And what's gonna happen, like I said, the example wasn't made out here, but he's going to a place where an example will be set. You know what I'm saying? We may not even find out. May find out he's literally inside and he's somebody's girlfriend, like for real. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and it needs to be known. It needs to be known, and to where it'll never happen again. You know what I'm saying? Because if people try to pop up like him again, I would say they need to be made example, like for sure. You know what I'm saying? And like he going around filming content, showing what he doing. Somebody filming content, make an example out of that, whoever it was that's trying to do the same thing that he was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So we not accepting it, man. It's unacceptable. And matter of fact, man, shout out to brother Cornell X down in Houston. He straight up, man, destroyed his lawyer. He calling women nigger down there in Houston. End up they confronting him in court.
Here we go. So, Mr. Nigga right here. Yeah, that's your ass.
So you the one
I want you the one like call people niggas and shit.
You gonna
call
me
a nigga. Call me one.
I bet you won't call in front of a black man like
I bet
that.
you won't call
in
me
fact,
no nigga.
Let me help you. You call a black woman in the word, call me that.
No, call me that.
I dare you to do it, and I swear for God, I'll make you taste the ancestors.
Me too.
You a coward. Call that black woman the N-word. You a real coward,
Why
man.
would you
We'll
do
catch you
that?
inside.
Now, go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
I guarantee you wouldn't do it in front of me.
Come on.
I know. In fact, I know you won't. Say the N-word in front of me.
Come on, go on in there.
And I guarantee you'll taste everything for the ancestors.
Go on in
Say
there.
it. Say it in front of me. I dare you to say it.
What is your name?
It's Quanell X, but you'll learn it real well today.
Yeah.
Say it. I bet you won't say N-word in my face. See, you talk to black women like that by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You intimidate black women by themselves. But a black man, you won't open your goddamn mouth. I dare you to say it.
With that hearing aid.
I dare you to say it.
With that hearing aid in your ear and shit. Get your old ass in there. Run around here with your bald head ass, you old spot liver face looking bitch. But I ain't playing with you.
They were not trying to hear it. And confronting him right there in the courtroom. And he was not like at all. Yeah, Attorney Michael Phillips confronted him right there in the court because he called a sister a nigga or something like that. And so, they like confronted him, like let him know, nah, never. You gonna never, I bet you won't call me a nigga, or you ain't gonna never call nobody else nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, stuff like that has like examples like that had to be set. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to that brother for setting that example, Cornell X, you know what I'm saying, down there in Houston, confronted the attorney, Michael Phillips for calling, sister a nigga, you know what I'm saying, basically using the N-word, just, blatantly using the N-word and, talking down or whatever, denigrating black people, you know what I'm saying? So, things like examples like that, need to be said, you know what I'm saying? really need to be said. So, well, yeah, they confronted him, and that's the same thing like with Chud the Builder and anybody else that pop up like that, like need to be like put in their place. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously. So, but yeah, I just want to say that because it's sad that people, like I said, it's a two-pronged issue. People will do something for fame, and then you feel like since black people are a lesser class of people, you can for your claim to fame, you can just denigrate them and talk bad about them. That'll be a way for you to get your attention. This man could have did anything else in the world, but he decided to start talking down to black people. You know what I'm saying? And I would say it's even, you know, like I said, it's even probably a greater cause behind that, you know, him or effect behind that. You know, maybe somebody supported that racial narrative, you know, and got behind him, you know, in the pattern, you know, it's been a pattern, you know what I'm saying, you know, with, man, you know, Trayvon, you know, getting killed, you know, and others being harmed, and nothing being really seriously being done about it because it's somebody black. You know, this man, he felt like, oh, I'm gonna get out of the situation anyway. I'm just do a GoFundMe or whatever. I'm gonna get out of the situation anyway. I'll, you know, I can denigrate black people. I can, you know, harm black people, and I'll be taken care of anyway. Because anyway, the pattern is that you can do something to black people and get away with it, you know, or, you know, people, you know, white people to come to your aid. White people to come to my aid because I'm white and I talk down about black people. I harm somebody black, you know. And that's the issue, you know, socio-psychological issue, you know what I'm saying? And I would say pathological, you know, issue, you know, that some white people have, you know, because you don't never have black people going around doing white people like that. We just don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? We're not that type of people. We spew hatred or have hatred in our heart. When we do hate people, we hate them because they have harmed us in some form of fashion. But it ain't just an outright hate simply because of the color of your skin, simply because you're different, you know, your culture or whatever may be different than ours. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We're godly people. So, you know, we don't ever seek to harm anybody or hate anybody for no reason. You know, so, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get up out here, man. You know what I'm saying? It has to be talked about because, man, the mentality, the hatred, the stupidity, you know, it has to stop, man. Like, for real, it has to stop. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out here. I just want to talk about that, you know, and mention that, like, man, stop the stupidity, man, for real. Like, stop the stupidity, because it's gonna end up getting somebody hurt. And, you know, you end up harming somebody, but it's also gonna get you possibly harmed or unalive. Like, seriously, you know. So it's you know, you got to, you know, got to understand, man. It ain't, you know, and like I said, another thing, back to what I said about the claim to fame. It ain't that serious, man. You know, trying to be famous for in any form, any way you can get. Come on, man, that ain't that serious, man. It ain't, you know, it's not even worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's not even worth it. You know, you could have did anything else in the world, but you want to, you know, go talking crazy to black people, end up shooting another black man, then shoot yourself. Now you looking at 60 years. Come on, man. Like, for real. Come on, man. You done pretty much threw away your life. But anyway. Let's see. Let me get up out here, man. Just want to say that. You know, hope y'all out there. Hope y'all doing well. Living life full of love and happiness. You know, striving and seeking greatness. You know, every day. But anyway, until next y'all get up out here. Love y'all. All right, y'all.
Fuck it, go ahead and blow off the dough. Step through the maze, man, and became amazing. About to rewrite history and change a page in a crooked book that never told us the true story. Like how we were kings and queens before the slave story, before the killing, stealing, and drug dealing on some real shit. We ran the world.